Two, one. Hello and welcome to the MegaMonsterCast. For today, we are talking about episode 2 of Tengoku Daimakyo. I'm Nick. With me is Josh.
Hi.
Not even going to say how many times we've tried to record this, and the multiple locations that have been used to try to get this at this point. But yeah, this is something we were hard bent on making sure we talked about, so we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah, right, we are.
Yeah. Anyway, like we've said at least 3 times, this is our first episode where we get an actual opener. Pretty solid. Not the best one we have covered on this show, but that's also aiming insanely high. Like, we've been blessed with an abundance of really good openers.
I mean, shit. Chainsaw Man, Kaiju Number 8, Don Da Don.
Yep.
All solid.
Oh yeah. Like, top tier shit there. But yeah, this one's still really good though. So this episode also gets us our first. Well, so starts with Tokyo talking with um, the boy in the wheelchair whose name you know, but I do not still. And we see that he's got some sort of like bruising or deterioration on his arm.
Yeah.
And then we cut, and immediately Tokyo is creeping on 2 girls from the school who are making out.
You're kissing.
Yeah, yeah. Then we get our first. Well, we get 2 things that I kind of like. First, we get the one girl whose name, again, you know, I do not. I will eventually know these names, but it's going to take me a minute.
Um, should be. We're talking about the one with black hair, right?
Yeah, the one who gets the drawing.
Cuckoo.
Okay. But she shows off that Kona, the artist boy, gave her the drawing of the horrifying fish abomination instead of Tokyo.
Yeah.
This is where. So we talked about this in our first attempt to record this. I am dead certain that his art has something to do with the man-eaters. I don't know exactly how they're related, but the fact that this is a creepy ass monster that has a similar energy to the crow one we get in this episode makes me strongly believe they are some way, like his art is in some way connected to these things. And I'm gonna be honest, I will put money on I think we're gonna see this fish thing at some point. Like I would be surprised if we did not, based off of the fact that this is a weird looking grotesque creature in a show where we are being exposed to weird looking grotesque creatures. Like, it would be weird not to use this as an actual man-eater design.
No.
Oh wow, we're not actually gonna use it? Alright, cool.
No, we would never.
I don't know if I believe you not on that one, but I will be honest, if they don't use it, like, props to them. They
How
made a they made a design to throw it away.
how pissed would you have been?
Honestly, I wouldn't have even been angry. I just would have been like, all right, I mean, you made a really interesting design that you're just not going to use again. No, like, at this point, I'm pretty certain that the two, like, the man-eaters and the outside world story is directly connected to the in the school story. Like, I'm willing to bet, like, the man-eaters are in some way coming from this school, from this academy, that like they are either being created there or like they're being designed there. At least, like there's some sort of connection there. Don't know what yet. I'll see when I see, but that's where my mind is going at this point.
I won't say how wrong you are or right you are.
Okay. We also get a
Yeah.
girl that can stick to trees because of course we do.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cuckoo.
yeah. So this is okay. So before we obviously had like the whole, oh, we had a boy jump out of the second floor window and land totally fine. We had someone who had like a weird premonition, but like both like you see kids and
That someone is Mimi Hime.
yeah, like well we
She
see
deserves respect.
fair. Again, I'll learn their names, but we see these things where they if it was the real world automatically it would be like oh that's a suspicious thing, but because it's an anime, like anime often stretches the realm of possibility, so like the jumping out the window thing, that could just be stretching possible. The fact that someone had like a premonition about the test before the test, that's again not unrealistic for plot contrivance sake. But this is our first like there's no explaining around how she is sticking to this tree. It is clear this is like an actual superhuman ability. So this is our first like you can't explain around it based off of the rules of anime other than yeah, she's just superhuman, which I
Yeah, she's
appreciate.
pretty special.
Like it's a hard deliberate oh, this is us saying that yes, we're going to have superhuman characters in this show. Like last episode didn't really get into that. Like we got into like the sci-fi aspect with the ray gun and we got into like the this world is like a tough world and we got into obviously like the man eater and saw its design,
Mm-hmm.
but like this is our first no, this is our first indication of kind of where this is going, I think. And again, Josh knows where this is going because Josh is a big fan of this series and he's read the manga and watched the anime. And Josh, I'm going to be honest with you, I am
I
also
haven't read all the manga yet,
okay. So
so I'm very behind.
I'm going to be honest with you, I am also starting the manga, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I stay behind where we're at in the anime when I'm reading it. So I have not finished like I am where episode 1 ended in the manga,
Okay.
and I will always try to stay one episode behind where we're at in the manga to keep it
All right. Season,
exciting.
because at the time where the anime was made, it was like 52 chapters, I think,
Oh
and
wow.
season one takes up from chapter 1 to 37, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So probably like what the
But
first
that's
5 to 7 ish
I was gonna say I
volumes.
think it's the first 7 volumes.
Okay. And I'm for viewers out there, I'm reading the manga on Kindle, so Um, I'm waiting for volume 2 to be released on Kindle. They have 1, 3, 4, and 5 on Kindle. They do not have 2. I know
What
it's
the
weird.
fuck?
I don't get it. I don't get why they did that. I'm sure that must have been like some sort of glitch or something. I'm gonna check back in like a few weeks,
Well,
see if it's been fixed, because I don't know
I
why they would
think
have that one not on there.
11 just came out October of last year.
Okay. But anyway, so Tokyo comes over and immediately throws a girl out of a chair because she's upset that she didn't get the drawing she wanted.
Again, it's Mimi Hime.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny, like, and go fuck yourself. And
Oh.
you're on the ground now because I want to sit next to the boy. We also get
uh,
a science boy from the looks of it with a mushroom bowl cut. He looks like
should be Shiro.
yeah, he looks like albino Mob from Mob Psycho. And,
No,
and he's looking at nudes of his classmates.
of Meme Heme,
Yep, nope. She's just yep.
which was sent to him.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw that it was like a message or an airdrop or some sort of thing. Then we get a bunch of fucking
Yeah,
crazy angelic, biblically accurate angel artwork hung up.
I am going to need you to focus on those drawings
Oh, I'm
and
not just
remember those.
yeah, no. I'm like going back looking at these. So, the one that draws my eye the most is the angry asteroid. Oh, shit, lost this for a
Hmm.
second there. This is the
Uh-oh.
angry asteroid. Um, that's the one that I'm initially drawn to the most, but I'm also kind of digging the four bodies connected by a head
Hmm.
and the weird angelic egg with two human embryos inside of it.
Okay, good, good. Those are honestly probably the most important ones.
Okay, yeah, I mean those are the ones that my eyes went to the most. Like the other ones are interesting looking too, but those ones are the most interesting. Then we get the mon. We
They
get.
are a large part.
I mean, hey, again, I'm excited to see where this is going. Again, my gut reaction though, and again, could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm not getting like too close right away. This is probably like very high concepts. I don't think it's going to go into like fantasy. I think this is really high concept, like advanced sci-fi concepts we're dealing with here, where it's going to be like genetically engineered shit or like I need to keep playing Metaphor Refantasio, but it gives me some of that
Ah,
vibe
yes, you do.
too. Like it gives me a little bit of the same vibe as that, where like maybe things are going to be dressed as fantasy, but they still have like a sci-fi concept behind them.
Okay.
Again, could be wrong. That's just where my brain is going at the moment. But anyway, so then the man eater shows up and our outsiders, our people in the outside world, find out that they've been locked inside. So of course they break out immediately, and I've got my gun. Here's a water bucket thing, and we're gonna go see what's going on.
We got a gun in our fists.
Yep,
We
we
can
got.
take this bitch on.
I mean, considering which one of them ends this fight,
Yes.
uh, I will say I do
I
appreciate that.
first first of all, before our Hiriko
Mhm.
or oh god, I think that's what they called
Hiruko.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually pops up. I love the fact that it goes widescreen
Yeah. Yeah.
just for a dramatic effect where he just trips and falls.
Yeah. I get there's like really good beats to this too. Like I appreciate the the choices they're making with this. Because I read like a little bit of the manga to like catch up to the end of the last episode, and the way that the gun works is different between the two of them.
Yep.
Where it's just
Got a
like kind
different
of
name too.
like a force thing where it's gone, whereas it doesn't like in the anime it melts, and I like those like little choices that they're making with showing how things work.
You're gonna see a pretty big difference between Manga Maru and anime Maru as well.
Okay. I'm curious to see where
Anime
that's gonna come
Maru's
from.
more, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost stable. He's more emotionally mature than he is in the manga.
Okay, interesting.
Manga, he's your typical 15 horny boy.
Okay, yeah. So they toned the horniness down, or at least made it less of an issue for everyone else, I would guess.
Well,
I said less. I didn't say not an issue.
okay.
But yeah, some other things. Well, so the man eater, the man eater is now like out and about. They're trying to search for it, and we get that it emits a light from like its mouth. Like before, when it opened its like head thing, it had all these eyes. Now it's got this glowing part to it, which I really
Yes.
liked. And we
Gives you
see
some
like
Breath of the Wild feel.
yeah, like it's really interesting. And it's kind of it makes me curious more how these things work because before it was like these grotesque eyes and like a mouth, and now it's like almost alien in the way it look like different alien in the way it looks where now it's got that glowing part to it and it feels again like Breath of the Wild or like something you'd see from like a Ghibli movie. And it's designed
Oh
at this
shit.
stage. Yeah, and you see, yeah, you get what I'm saying on that, right? Where like the glowing part suddenly shifts where it feels like it comes from. And now Josh is silently scrolling through.
Yeah. I hate the fact that you made me think of Ghibli films like this. They're tainted now.
Hmm, it's fair. I mean, like, it's clear this is getting like influence from a few different places, and like it would be weird if there was zero impact from Ghibli, considering like how important Ghibli is on a global scale.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, though, so we get some idea on how this thing hunts. That has these like whip tendrils that it uses to attack with, and that's
Yeah.
its main form of attack is by whipping these tendrils at people. And
Whipping these tendrils and being extremely like mobile.
yeah, um, it seems like they're kind of like microfilament type of whips, uh like isn't there like a cyberpunk weapon where it's just
Yeah.
like yeah like a
The monowire.
nanofilm? Yeah, like it feels like it's that kind of idea, you know?
Oh yeah, 'cause it's pretty much the same concept because this thing just obliterates the innkeeper here.
Oh, not just like it tears walls apart, and it's not tearing, it's cleanly cutting walls into little pieces.
Uh, you said you made it this far, right? In
Um,
manga, or
so
just
I made it to them getting drugged. I stopped when they got drugged.
okay? Way more brutal in manga with her
I
getting chopped up.
I would imagine like it lends itself to if it was exactly the same, I wouldn't be too surprised, but I feel like something like this where especially like the way it looks super grotesque at times,
Hmm.
I would I would have put money on that like the violence is far more grotesque in the manga than it is in the anime.
Yes,
Like where we get
all around.
like it's kind of like I'm gonna reference my favorite anime. It's like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where like JoJo's the anime is pretty like brutal with some of its violence, but the manga gets grotesque, and you see like a lot more detail in the violence, and I imagine that's what this gives you too.
Yeah.
Where like this looks Like she's torn apart, but like nowhere near as brutally as it probably could be.
Yes, yes, 100% yes.
Anyway, though, so we also find out why. Well, so this man eater's been here a hot minute, and we find out that the manager's son was eaten by it, and she believes now her son is a part of it, and that this is her son.
Turns out she's wrong.
Yes, they imply like, oh, maybe there was something left of him in there, but it's gone by now. Maybe at one point it had something of it left inside, and that's why she lasts as long as she did, but by this point it's probably gone, and that's why it just sliced her up. Which, yeah. Again,
Honestly, I think it just had its fill.
I mean, I think it was more of a she was probably like feeding. She's
Mhm.
like, correct me if I'm wrong. She's been feeding the guests to this thing, right?
That's how I came across.
Yeah. So she's been feeding the guests to it. It wouldn't kill her because she keeps giving it food. And when it ran
Plus,
into
I also
a
don't think she's been this physically close to it.
probably not, but like it's not gonna try to it's not gonna actively try to get to her when she's sending uh other meals to it. Like why would it go after her when, oh hey, she just threw three other people outside more or less for it to eat instead. Oh cool, this thing keeps giving me this food over here gives me other food. I'll just leave that food alone until I have to eat that one. At least
Yeah,
again,
that's
that's
a choice.
that's what I was thinking. Um, yeah, so now she gets just again, it's great. Just chopped. And then it's fucking weird, grotesque parts like open up to eat her and like mouths and eyes appear on it again.
Yeah.
I'm so that's something I was gonna ask about. Like I kind of assume that all of them are gonna kind of do that. Like all the man eaters are gonna kind of do that thing, right? Where like mouths and eyes appear on parts of them. Like
I
like
wouldn't say yes, but I also won't say no
like I'm
because
not
weird shit does happen.
yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, they're gonna appear on like random part. Like I'm saying like there'll be like a consistent
Like
like the way it does it will be consistent, but it'll
the
always have like that.
way the way it does it is very similar through a lot of them, but the whole eyes and mouth thing, very different.
Okay, fair enough. Um, but yeah, so then so then our boy Maru, right? That was his name, right?
Yes, Maru.
Okay, I'm learning their names because I care more about them.
You're going to care way more about Maru and Kiriko.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're the ones on the journey, so they're gonna have the more interesting story. But
Well,
he
them in Tokyo.
yeah, but he gets in, touches this thing, sends some sort of energy hand into it, and then just crushes Organ.
Which very similar to another series we've just watched and are waiting for it to come back. There's a core,
Yeah,
specifically a core he has to crush.
yeah, that makes sense. I feel like there's probably more anime using that idea recently that I'm not aware of. Like I'm sure if I like dug, I'd find more, but that seems to be like a thing that that culture is kind of latched onto. And technically, if we want to, we could say that that's in two animes of ours. It's just one involves two cores in a ball sack.
God,
So
I was
anyway,
gonna say Crisis, but that's a game.
nah. So yeah, anyway, then we get our crew back on the open road, hanging out in burned out trains.
Which, by the way, like when I first saw this, I thought this was the end of the episode, and the fact that it kept on going blew my mind.
Oh yeah, no, like honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is like a really fast episode, and then I saw we were at the halfway point. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. This is like
Yeah,
gonna go for a while. So this sets up like our next little plot line, where like so we had our kind of set up to it in the last episode where they're now making their way to Tomato Heaven.
yeah, Tomato Head.
And I think this is also something that I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of, which is the journey from places. Like I imagine this show is going to really push like the feeling of what this world is like and like walking through the wasteland of what used to be civilization,
Correct.
which kind of gives me um like Last of Us vibes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've got this. It's gonna give you a good sense of like how brutal this world is, and how, e- in some cases, in a lawless society, there's still some. They're still trying to be like lawful,
Mhm.
but that's not how it's always going.
Yeah, well, especially like when so my assumption on this is and don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, the Anteaters are like impossible to kill for most people. Like Maru and Kikaru are probably not was Hikaru?
Uh,
Hikaru?
Kiriko.
Hiruka. Jesus. I'm confusing her with I've been going back and reading the Kaiju number 8 manga, so I've got that on my brain too.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, so those two have like are maybe able to kill like obviously Maru can, but they both might be able to, with the gun too. I would imagine those are very specific cases and general like normal people have no way of killing these things. Like that's
Possibility.
that's my assumption is these things are like just impossible to kill unless you have like a gun that can literally melt steel beams and the ability to create a fucking hand out of the energy coming from your body to crush the core. Like these cores are probably not easy to get to and not easy to destroy. Again, that's just my assumption. Like I feel like that's an obvious assumption to jump to considering like that this is a scary future world with monsters. The monsters have got to probably be pretty tough to kill otherwise.
It
Why
is a
wouldn't
very
they the humans
scary
have won?
world because
Yeah. Anyway though,
because of a singular point.
yeah, yeah, singular point.
Yeah.
So anyway, Maru and Hikuro were
Nope.
decide that they
Kiriko.
are. I'll get it there eventually. I'll get there eventually. Uh, but they are using a little raft to try to get across the river to to the fucking tomato heaven. And along the way, they're like, "Hey, what if there are like crocodiles or sharks in here?" Like, how sad would that be? Like, what if we die?
What if we should die?
What if like this is just how things end and we're just dead by the end of this? And then we find out that they're well, jumping a little ahead, but we do find out, yeah, that could have happened.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they just got real fucking lucky.
they don't have like any more shots left, or he's not
Mm,
going to be able to fight in water.
yeah, Josh, did they cut an entire actual fight from the manga?
No,
Okay, cool. I was like, oh, is that something that just happened that they were like, this is boring, let's skip over it? I don't think an anime would do that anymore, but you never know.
it's a
Actually,
possibility.
no, that's not true. Sakamoto Days did that.
Yeah,
uh,
a whole like arc of a character.
yeah, more or less, yeah. Anyway, that yeah, we've talked about that off podcast. That's not one of the
Yeah,
shows we're covering on here, but we've talked about our feelings on that. Anyway though, so we cut back to Tokyo, hanging out with the tomatoes because parallels, tomato heaven. Hey, here's some tomatoes in the place they're probably trying to look for, called heaven. Yeah, it's like it rhymes. It's like there's poetry in the universe.
yeah. This is just Star Wars, but without the stars.
Yeah, and maybe instead of Jar Jar Binks, we have a different type of horrifying abomination. Anyway, uh, so we kept
There's a
back.
character, yeah.
Eh. I don't hate him as much as other people do, but I have to make the jokes.
I fully regret not being going out and buying the life size Jar Jar statue when I had the chance. Is all I'm saying.
That's fair. So yeah, and we get sci-fi bullshit. We get like futuristic cameras watching Tokyo as she tries to get her ball back, and we
Hmm.
get was this the athletic boy from the last episode who jumped out of the window using
Yes.
these like robots to carry him up?
Yes. They're the fancy futuristic Roombas
Yeah.
that Taka uses.
Yeah. So anyway, he jumps up, so he falls from almost like the fucking like top of the dome all the way to the ground, hits the ground, is like, huh, well that didn't work.
Yeah.
Uh, heavily
He's like, well, I'm fine.
so again, this is me like wasting a bunch of time because I know like but I have to put my thoughts out there.
You have to.
My assumption is that like each one of them has like some sort of specific like some sort of like sci-fi superhuman ability to them. Like he's probably really durable. The one girl sticks to stuff, future visions, um, probably like able to see these creatures from a distance, or maybe he's the one conjuring them into the universe or whatever. I don't know. But like all these kids have to have like I think I'm assuming have like a unique ability to them. With Maru obviously being the one on the outside who has some sort of ability with that energy arm thing.
Those would be assumptions.
Hmm. Well, we'll find out. Yeah.
Next time,
We also get
maybe.
we get Shiro. Remember that one? Getting a
Okay.
nosebleed
Bye.
because the girl
What's your
Mimi,
name?
is it Mimi Hime?
Yay.
Yeah, I got that one too. That she like when they all think that Athletic Boy died, she like turns around and grabs him, and he's like, oh god, I can't handle this. I've seen what you look like naked.
You're like, He
And
already had a crush on her. It's fine.
yeah. Then our outsiders get to tomato heaven.
Heaven.
And it's like, hey, outsiders are not welcome. Stay the fuck away from our tomatoes.
Oh, we'll kill you.
Yeah. This is our tomato crop. Don't fucking touch it. If you touch it, we're gonna kill you. But yeah.
We'll grind you up and use the tomato paste.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
We'll also find out that Maru's mission is to go to. He doesn't know who he's going to, but it's Tokyo, and he's supposed to inject her, although he assumes it's another guy, with some sort of drug. That's what he's supposed to do, is go there and shoot Tokyo up with something. And we see two vials, so I'm assuming one is for Tokyo, one is for him. That's again my assumption, seeing, oh, you're supposed to shoot up the person who looks like you with this. There's two of them in that container. It's probably you're supposed to shoot both of you up with it at the same time. Not
It's just so
saying
they
that.
get high.
Yep. Yep, they're just gonna do heroin. It's just,
What?
oh god.
That would be the biggest twist of the show.
What, you thought this was some sort of like sci-fi thing? No, these kids are just gonna
This whole show is
overdose.
just them been on a trip.
No, no, this is just no. I just know that they both need to die, and I had some heroin, so I thought easy way have two kids just shoot themselves up with it in OD.
God.
So we also cut back to how we got a hold of this cool sci-fi ray gun that Mikura, woman that is suffering, it looks like, from the same bruising, degeneration, whatever condition that the one boy in the wheelchair is at the academy, gave it away and asked for Maru's protection on what I'm assuming is her deathbed.
It's a good assumption.
Hmm. Yeah. So and that specifically hey, take Maru to heaven. That was what was asked. So we get that, and then we get the people in charge of well, the people living at Tomato Heaven welcoming our wanderers into their community.
Yeah, just be imagining. Just that's the only thing you're able to grow is just tomatoes. Day in and day out, it's just tomatoes.
Yeah. I mean, we get the reveal of they have more than just tomatoes, but tomatoes is how it started. Um, so this is like this gives a very different feeling to it than the last group of people we ran into, where the last ones were like kind of like your standard like bandits after the apocalypse. But this seems like it's a thriving community. It seems like it's just an agrarian community, like a bunch of people just out there farming. Like it seems like something you could more or less run into
Mhm.
in like in Japan. Like this doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the few like they're trying to rebuild a society.
Hmm. And we find out that, oh yeah, there were crocodiles in there after all. Crocodiles in the water,
Yeah,
they could have eaten you. Um,
yeah. Oh, definitely.
yep. So they take our wanderers into their community. We go see like this, like I think it's their leader, like his family,
Mhm.
and what I assume is their giant weed plant behind his wife. Although I say that knowing full well tomato plants and weed plants are supposed to look like pretty similar. I've
Yeah.
never seen a tomato plant before, but uh I'm assuming.
I grow my own tomatoes. Except for this year. I haven't planted any.
Yeah. No, I have actually
Not
seen
yet.
tomato. I've seen both of these plants before. That was the joke. But yeah, no, it's so we get a little more of the whole like engaging with like the community. I like the little like bonfire party they have using the fucking oil drum.
Yes.
Like again, it's kind of a cool little feeling uh juxtaposed against that first episode where we had like the marauder types and we had the lady who was like well this episode the manager who's kind of like succumbed to the madness, which is sort of why obviously this is going to have to go bad. Like this cannot end well. So we find out from one of the guys that Kiriko is actually famous, that she's like a race car driver. I think wasn't
Vroom
that it?
vroom.
Yep,
A racer, yeah.
yep. And that she went missing after killing her brother in a race. And Mara was like, "This isn't her. Wait, this is exactly her. This looks identical to her." But that's kind of where like okay, so there feels like there's a few things that are kind of being set up with this. First of all, it talks about the accident, and
Mhm.
we've seen that Kiriko has just a shit ton of scars all over her body. So I'm assuming that's where those are coming from. And it sets up that she was missing for a period of time. So assumption is again, accident goes missing related. Probably I can tie in that doctor she's looking for into that too. And I would guess the missing friend has plays into this as well. Like that's where my assumption is all these elements are connected. The accident that she got in where she kills her brother, her being riddled in scars, obviously that's probably what's being set up. And then like the aftermath of that dealt with the doctor and maybe like the friend was another one of his patients or something like that.
Honestly, very good assumptions. And what I like about this show is there's payoff.
Okay, that's
A lot
good.
of payoffs.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. But based off of some of the other stuff later on and just how I think like I know Japan is also like a pretty it relatively speaking open and accepting like I'm curious I'm curious where the whole towards the end of the episode Kiriko talking about that she's a man. I'm wondering how that's going to play into all of this too, because we're getting like a lot of backstory on her in this episode, and like I don't know how accepting like I know that like there have been a lot of portrayals of like trans people in Japan in like anime and stuff, but they're usually not particularly shining examples of that, and I'm wondering if like how that's going to play into this. Because
Honestly, I think it does a really good job.
Hmm.
This is also some feelings that the creator had about himself,
Yeah.
but more on the lines of like he had to deal with the feelings of masculinity, even though he didn't portray a lot of masculine traits.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. We also get there's some boxes there that has the same symbol as the gun on it. So this has something to do with the doctor. Maybe, I don't know. Or the realistically it's probably it's not the doctor, it's the Mirka. She's the one that had the gun. So, I mean, maybe it has something to do
Mhm.
with the doctor too. Like obviously that's part of Kiriko's backstory, and given this is kind of like a Kiriko focused episode more with like developing her out of the two, not as much Maru. Um, I'm assuming this is going to tie more into her stuff. Again, could be
Yes.
wrong. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to kind of like put thought into in this episode. I'm really curious where some of these things are going. You know, like
Oh, yeah. You get a lot of questions, and as long as you pay close attention, you're gonna get the answers you want.
okay, fair enough. I'm feeling like Alex in this one where I'm like, what's going on? I need to know. Just give me the fucking dump at some point. Just
But
let me
you're
know.
actually enjoying it.
I mean, I think Alex is getting to the point where we are. Like he is. I think we'll talk about that in other episodes, but I don't know exactly where this is going to line up with our releases of Neon Genesis Evangelion, but Alex is getting on board with that one. Like I feel like I'm on board from
Finally.
this. Like it I've been on board with this from like episode 1. Like I gave it I watched these first two episodes back to back for I don't remember if I said that in our last recording or not, but
I think you did.
okay. Um
If you didn't, you at least told me anyway.
yeah, yeah, to give it kind of like a shot. So I was into it right away. Anyway, then we get scene was set on a boat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so now
Um,
that they're on a boat
after
because
yeah, because after Kiriko gives the guy uh thanks for thanks for being a fan speech.
yeah. Yeah, so they ride on the boat and we get like a little more like, yeah, I want to live on a farm with you sometime. Like, yeah, Mars very clearly trying to like swing for the fences and be like, hey, like I want to like spend my life with you. Like, you're clearly my shit. And he's like, I I really like you. And she's like, this is weird.
This is a
Don't
bad
do
idea.
that. Let's not do this right now, kid. We're traveling together. Let's not do this. And he goes in for the kiss when she's saying, let's not do this.
Which he does stop.
Yep. Yeah. And then he looks really embarrassed, which he should. Because he went
Mhm.
too hard for it, bud.
Yep. And that's when she goes, I
Yeah.
know I have the body of a woman, but I'm a man.
Yeah. I got the man brain going on. The
She
man
watches
brainy.
School Time.
Yep. She's a big
That was
fucking yep, she's big fucking home improvement fan.
yeah.
Yeah. That was
Uh,
our episode. Again, I really enjoyed it. I obviously was left with a lot of questions.
hmm
I'm curious where it's gonna go.
uh, you're You're on a lot of right tracks.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I feel like a lot of these are kind of obvious stabs just knowing genre.
mm-hmm.
Like once you get used to like a specific genre, like you can start to pick at the tropes and figure out kind of where some things are going. And I'm not saying I'm like I know I'm not going to get like the fine details right this early, but the broad strokes you can kind of get a sense of right away.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Any final thoughts before we call this one?
No, I can't wait to hear your reactions for next week's episode.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
episode 3. I'm excited for this one.
Yep. Well, with that, tune in next time for episode 3, Kiriko and Haruki. Bye bye.